All right, so I'm pretty sure you guys have seen a lot of videos from me and other creators talking about this new Mpc 3.0 update. And I know you've seen some of the new features and everything, but a lot of you guys have hit me up in the DMs and you guys were asking me about the song mode and if the song mode was still going to be included in this new 3.0 update since we now have a linear way of editing our songs. And I'm going to tell you guys right now, yes, we still got it, but it's a little different. Bolo! All right, before we get started, if you guys need a new MPC or just anything else for your studio, make sure you guys go ahead and click my link in the description and head over to sounds.com. They have a whole bunch of stuff on the site, and they have a whole bunch of stuff on the site that requires no credit or background check, meaning you can order it, they'll ship it to you in about 2 to 3 days, and then you can just make monthly installments on the payments. All you just need is a credit or debit card hooked to the account, and that's it. Now, it's not everything on the site, but it is a whole bunch of stuff on the site that you guys can get right now by clicking my link in the description and head over to sounds.com. And that way you guys can go ahead and get some gear today. Also, when you go and buy some gear, you're going to need to protect the gear, and Analog Cases is the best place to go ahead and get your gear protected. Right now, they have a new hard shell case for the Mpc Key 37, and this thing is dope. Now, this is the ultimate professional case that would keep your Mpc Key 37 protected. This thing is a dope hard shell case that has nothing but protective foam on the inside, and it fits your Mpc Key 37 like a glove. And it has a compartment to where you can store all your cables and cords and all your knickknacks as well. One thing I like about this, if you're traveling with it, you will be rest assured that your equipment will be safe. So if you guys need to go ahead and protect your Mpc Key 37, or if you guys have some other equipment that needs to be protected, go ahead and click my link in the description and head over to Analog Cases today. I ain't gonna lie to y'all, I did use a little clickbait on that title, but you know, it was kind of true because a lot of you guys were asking, is the song mode still gonna be available on the new 3.0 software? And it is, but it's going to be a little bit different. Now, on the older software, the song mode kind of worked kind of like FL Studio, where you could take a pattern, but in MPC terms, the pattern would be called sequences, but you would be able to take a pattern, you could copy that pattern, make that pattern unique, and then that way you can make changes inside of that pattern and it would not affect the other pattern. However, now with the new 3.0 software, they treat this software kind of like, you know, Logic, Ableton, Studio One, Pro Tools. Nah, not Pro Tools. Don't nobody produce a Pro Tools. Cubase, Reason, Cakewalk. But they treat it kind of like those programs where you can go ahead and edit everything in a linear fashion. And in this way, when you go into your sequences, like in song mode, and you press mute on certain tracks that you've copied from the original sequence, what happens is everything is muted. So if like you had a sequence with a kick, snare, and a bass, and you copied that sequence, and then you went in and on the second sequence, you muted that kick because you wanted that kick to be muted on the second sequence to build in song mode, what happens is every kick is muted in every single sequence because now they're using that linear type of editing now. It kind of threw me off guard a little bit, but I kind of understand it. But hopefully, you know, maybe in a future update, they may add it to where it was, you know, how it was before. But until then, this is what we have. So if you guys want to continue to still use song mode to build your tracks, this is the way you're gonna do it. And I'm gonna show you guys how to do it right now. So let's get to it. All right, so a quick note, I do not have this MPC Live 2 hooked up to any audio interfaces or nothing like that. This is really just a tutorial. I didn't want to, you know, have to hook up all this stuff and have to do all this extra editing. So I'm just going to just use the speakers from the Mpc Live 2, which this should be sufficient for what we're doing. So as you guys can see right now, I do have a sequence pulled up. This is an older sequence that I did on the older software, and this is how the beat sounds. All right, just pretty much sounds like that. Now, as you guys can see, this is sequence 1. Now, if we want to go ahead and edit this out in like a linear fashion, we can just go ahead and go to the arranger mode and we can do it that way if we wanted to. But for some of you old heads that want to keep it the same way that you used to been doing it, we can go ahead and do it that way. I just said used to been doing it. Boy, I know I'm from the South. Man, but let's go ahead and do this real quick. So we can go back to our sequence like this. And then what we can do is we can copy the sequence. Now, what we can do is we can copy it, and I can copy this to sequence 2, and I can name this, I'll call it sequence 02 for right now. Okay. So we're going to do that and press do it. So now we have 2 sequences in here, right? So if we go ahead and play the second sequence, it's going to play the same. So everything plays the same. But let's just say, for instance, we want to go ahead and take out some parts. On track 3, we have the 808 in here, and let's just say we want to take out the 808. Now, the old school way would be, we can just go right in here to our mute, and then we can just take out the 808 on this particular sequence, and we'll be fine. However, on the new 3.0 software, we cannot do that. So if we muted the 808 on this second sequence, sequence 02, watch this. Okay, the 808 is out. Great. Now, let's go back to our first sequence. Now, we go back to sequence 1, and the 808 is still muted. So when we play it, it wasn't like that before. We could just mute out the 808 on sequence 2, and it wouldn't affect sequence 1. But, like I said before, this is a little bit different. Don't know if they're going to change it later on down the line. If we make enough fuss, they might, but if everybody's happy where they're at with the new linear sequencing and how it is now, they might just keep it like this. So we'll see how this goes. Now, there's 2 ways that we can do this. One is we can automate the mutes if you want to do it that way, or 2, we can just go in and we can just delete the notes out of each sequence. So I like to do option number 2. Oh, and I forgot to mention, you can re-record new information into the new sequence as well. Forgot about that. So yeah, let's get back to the tutorial. So right now we have this 808 in this second sequence. What we have to do is go to arrangement right here. And then what we can do from there is just double tap on this. And then what we can do is select the parts that we want to take out. So what I want to do is I want to go ahead and take out some parts of the 808 in here. I don't want to take out all of them, but let's take out half of them out of sequence 2. So let's go ahead and go right here and take these out right here. And what I'm going to do at this point right now is hit shift and just press delete. So it's going to take those out. Now, when I take these out at sequence 2, I'm good. I don't have to worry about sequence 1. Okay, because sequence 1 is going to be fine. So as you guys can see, the 808 is out on half of this sequence right here. Now, if we go back to sequence 1, boom, it shows right back up. It is not affected. So now I can go ahead and play sequence 1, and then all the 808s are going to be in there. And then when I switch over to sequence 2, the second half of that sequence, the 808s are going to drop out. So let's go ahead and play that real quick. Now that's how you have to do it. It's definitely an extra step. I wish personally that we didn't have to do it this way. I wish they would go back to the other way, but this is what we have to deal with right now. But if you guys want to continue to sequence the old school way using song mode, then you can do it this way. All right, so now knowing what we know, we can now use the old school song mode method. So what we can do is we can go to menu, we can hit song, and then we can just select sequence 1, then we can select sequence 2, select sequence 1 again, and select sequence 2. And then now when we play this thing back, here we go. And you can do it the same way. If you want to add more sequences, you can do it the same way. You just can't hit the mute on the tracks anymore. You have to actually physically go in and either automate it or hit the record button and mute it, or you have to just go ahead and take it out. I know it's kind of weird, but that's the way they got it. All right, so there it is. That's how you're gonna have to do it if you want to use song mode in the new 3.0 update. Now, we're still in the beta, and as of July 28th, 2024, the public beta has not been released yet. It should be out within the next coming weeks, and hopefully they might switch it up and change it back to the old way, or we might just be stuck with this way, you know? Change is good, right? So either way, I hope this video was informative. I hope you guys learned something from it. And like I always say, peace out.